Lead the Way, a podcast for school leaders with author, speaker, and educator, Dr. Bill Ziegler.
Welcome to Lead the Way, a podcast for ed leaders by ed leaders in 5 minutes or less. Today, I'm with a complete rock star in the educational world, Brianna Hodges. Bree is an educational consultant, a member of the Future Ready faculty, and a former district leader. Bree, it's so great to have you on Lead the Way today.
Thank you so much for having me, Bill. This is a true opportunity for me to get to learn alongside you, so thank you for that.
Bree, you do a lot of work around communication. How can leaders right now be building relationships and communicating with people during this virtual time?
Well, I think that, we keep calling these unprecedented times, uncertain times, all these different names. And it's a little bit of this unknown world that we're moving into. Last spring, we found ourselves in situations where we were moving into virtual environments, but we'd often had those relationships already in place. And now we're coming into a fall where many of us are going to be starting that semester without having those hard-formed relationships already there. And so, looking at that, I know across the board, we've got lots of faculty additions that are coming on. We've got new staff, new teachers that we've never even really seen face-to-face because we've conducted their interviews even through virtual means. So the importance of developing that relationship is truly greater now more than ever. And what it really starts with is having those initial frequent conversations, just touching base, just seeing how things are going. We're in incredibly stressful times. And so reaching out frequently, checking in, saying, hey, how's it going? Just wanted to see how your family is. Or are you doing okay? One of my favorite things, Jess Gomez, principal out in California, she posted about this in the spring, and I found it, modified it, and have shared it with several districts, was creating, a voice postcard for faculty members and just, sending out as an educational leader, just sending out a quick little note that says, hey, I just wanted to let you know that I was checking in and, heard something that made me think of you, or just simple little touch points to engage with people to let them know. Of course, alongside this, we often get that nagging thing that happens in the back of our mind of like, well, I don't want to bother people and I don't want to push into their world. I want to keep this professional. And I appreciate that. But I also think that more than anything, we need to recognize that people are people, and it's hard to have a culture built on relationships if you don't form those relationships with your faculty first. And so you need to have that personal contact in order to do that. Sometimes it's a written note, sometimes it's a text message. Of course, we all have our boundaries that are in there, but truly jumping in there and forming those relationships is super important. There's, again, countless ways that we can do that. Video, audio, text messages, gifts, having simple faculty meetings through video conferencing opportunities, but keeping that opportunity to be a vulnerable check-in. It doesn't have to be all business all of the time. It does need to be something where you're able to get to know people and learn about them. The last piece that comes in with that is being respectful of people's willingness to share that information. So again, coming at that from that lens of multiple means, provide that opportunity for people to share their thoughts, maybe through written or through text, so that way that they're not having to share their thoughts openly with everyone else that's on the call. Keep that two-way conversation happening truly two-way between you and that faculty member, as opposed to forcing them to share their thoughts with the entire school. So being, aware and cognizant of that.
Brie, I really like how you lay out all those areas, but the piece about respecting and really communicating to people in the way that they want to be communicated to, I think is so important. Thank you so much for being on Lead the Way today. If our listeners want to learn more about you and your work, how would they do that?
You can find me on social media at bhodgesedu, pretty much on every single platform. And my website is briannahodges.com. Would love to connect, further the conversation, or answer any questions at any point in time.
And be sure to check out Brie's website and her social media. She has great information for ed leaders. Thank you so much for being on the Lead the Way today and for all that you're doing for ed leaders throughout the nation.
Thank you so much for having me.
You've been listening to Dr. Bill Ziegler with Lead the Way. Bill has great resources for school leaders at chaselearning.org. That's chaselearning.org. Thanks for listening to Lead the Way with Dr. Bill Ziegler.